So here we go. We're live again. It's Chargeheads live, and it's 8 o'clock Thursday. Every week, well, I don't think I've missed one yet so far, although we did have technical issues last week, so I apologise for that. And we've got Barnaby on from Electric Car Converts, which I'm really excited about because you guys are very much in the EV conversion space. As some might notice, I'm outside because I had to take advantage of the weather. So apologies if there's some background noise. Please feed it back if it's too much, and I'll go inside. But Barnaby, thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to give us a little intro about yourself and about the company, get us started, and then we'll get straight into all about EV conversions?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thanks for having me, of course. I enjoy watching your videos because, I enjoy the sort of authenticity of the yeah, it's me. There's a Tesla. Have a look. Great. No editing. You'll notice my YouTube videos are the same. It's just like, right, here's the car. I'm going to go back to building the other ones. But
what no, there's loads of editing that goes on, Barnaby. I don't know what you're on about.
I think I literally add a title slide and an end slide, and then I don't even watch. I just press go. That's it. Go and have a look. I'm building them. So yeah, which is my role, I suppose. I own Electric Car Converts. I started by building my own Land Rover 3 years ago now, electric, back on a Hyper-9 system, which was great. And the business evolved from that, and now I do all the I started by doing all the wiring, doing all the building myself. I've eventually got engineers in, have got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now we're chucking out 14, 15 cars a year, turning over nearly £1 million a year. It's gone back gangbusters from a first little, me, myself, and I in my parents' garage building an electric Land Rover. Turns out people actually like these things and pay for them. So, the business has grown into that, and it's been a whirlwind. It's been we've had to learn how to do it, how to run the business as well as how to build the damn cars. But, it seems to have worked, which I'm happy with.
No, that's amazing. I didn't realise it was as big as that. So that's actually quite a surprise to me. And yeah, fantastic. Yeah. I think we first met in 2022 at the London to Brighton rally, many moons ago now.
Yes, we did. I didn't even know who you were.
With a camera.
Yeah.
Well, I had long hair back then.
I remember that now.
Yeah. That was me. I was in my Tesla. I think it was one of the first journeys out. And yeah, it was a good event. I'm hoping that I might be at the next one with the TVR. Ralph, if you're watching and listening, please hurry up. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I know those guys because I live in
enough about that. Are you back in? Nice. I think we had a bit of a glitch there. Hi, Paul. Thanks for joining in. Barnaby, can you hear me okay?
I know those. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, you live in Brighton?
Perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we missed a bit of connection just there. So everyone, if anyone's listening and we come out of connection, let us know so I can move. Sorry, carry on, Barnaby.
No, I can hear you perfectly, but you obviously can't hear me. No, I know those guys because they're obviously based in Brighton, being the London to Brighton, and then I think they went to Paris last year or this year. No, last year. No, I didn't do it.
No,
I didn't do it. They did it. I actually took a job with them. Early days of this, I said, right, I'm going to work with you guys while I start up Electric Car Converts, so I've got at least a bit of money coming in. If this doesn't work out, I can pay my mortgage. Ended up not because, we sold 3 cars the day we opened. But, great idea, great. I like the movement. I did a lot of sort of bits and bobs with them. I know them quite well. And I think it's a great event, and I'm hoping to get a couple of Landies, going down because we win, if that makes sense. We're the coolest cars there, of course, against a Kia, a whatever, and a Tesla. The Land Rover wins. So we had a great time that first year, but we do need to go back and do it again with the new vehicles, I suppose.
Yeah, and you're saying about the success that you've had. It's great to hear because I know that a lot of EV conversion companies have struggled. I think that's mainly because of quite a lot of the companies, EV conversion companies, focus on the one-offs, and there's so much extra labour and yeah, lots of it just takes a long time. And I think you've kind of got a slightly different model. Can you explain to the viewer or few a little bit more about how you guys work differently to other EV conversion companies?
Yeah, look, we started when I first started this company. Naively, I've had businesses in the past; they've done well. I said, right, I don't want to close my target audience down to just Land Rovers. So we did Karma Gears, Fiat 500s, camper vans, all that kind of stuff. And you're right; it's hugely labor intensive. You're designing an adapter plate every 2 minutes. You're read all the mounts are different, all the battery configs are different every single time. Which, we were still profitable at that point. I think we did 100 grand in year one, which was fantastic. But we needed to do better, and that sort of led me down the right. Me, my engineer, we like Land Rovers. We're not really classic car nuts. I couldn't tell you the difference between an MG whatever and an MG whatever. But
they sound the same.
Wise, exactly. They're all the bloody same. So we then sort of thought, you know what, we like Land Rovers. They're easily our biggest market. Let's just focus on them. And then that's very quickly become our model of do one thing and do it right rather than do everything, and take ages to do it. I think I really like eDubs. I think they're called eDub, somewhere up north, who only do T2 camper vans. I get a T2 camper van.
I think his name's Kai, is it?
Maybe.
I think so.
I don't know. I see the odd reel, and it looks like they're building cool stuff. But if they're the specialists in it, they know the difference between a split screen and a whatever screen and a bay window and a whatever. They should be doing those conversions. In the same way that when somebody comes to me with a Land Rover and it's a V8 something from this, but it's got this engine in it and a whatever, I know the bolt pattern, and we can build the kit and put it in. We can build a kit within a week, really.
Yeah. Thank you, Albert, and thank you, Mod Scotsman. It's Kit Lacey. Sorry, Kit. Oof. Yeah. So I'm thinking of an old girlfriend.
Yeah. So Kit. Maybe I don't remember. Maybe I looked at Kit and thought they're only doing that one car, and I ummed and ahed and thought I can't give away my market. Jack, Silent Classics. He's Fiat 500 guy and like really special cars. You'll notice that the people who are surviving are doing one car or one or two cars and just doing them really well. Electric classic cars in Wales, Ferraris, Porsches, whatever. We're now very much becoming known as the Land Rover people. I mean, stick anything to do with electric and Land Rover into Google and you'll see like 20 links of me talking crap on YouTube. But it really works marketing wise. Our waiting list is over a year now. That's at 14 cars a year. It's like really allowed us to grow, I suppose. So maybe it was a fluke, but can't be all a fluke. We're happy with it.
Well, like you said, you're focusing on one particular model, and I think you've got a bit of a USP because having seen your conversions in the metal, although not driven one yet, I'm really keen to drive one of your Tesla Range Rovers. I know, and you have invited me down. It's time, effort. I need to put a date in the diary for sure. So apologies so far. We'll get there, but very keen on driving one of your Range Rover Tesla swaps. The fact that you utilize a lot of the Felton technology, which is can you tell me a little bit and tell everyone else a little bit about what you use from the Felton range of products and how they benefit the business and your customers?
So look, when I started with Felton, it was 0 EV, and I said to them, right, I'm a one-man band in my garage. I want to convert my own car. I was only converting my own car because I was quoted 6 figures from some people that you'll work out who, and I was like, that's ridiculous. Quoted it up, with Beth. I love Beth at Felton. People will know who they are if they're in the industry.
Yeah, Beth.
Quoted it up and bought all the individual parts to build the whole car. From down to that £1 fuse they would sell me. I think since then their business has evolved into a complete battery box or a complete mini kit, for example. That has meant that I don't have to mess around building them now. So, the battery pack is the hardest part. You probably know this on your TVR. it's a pain in the ass, and you get it wrong, you're going to know about it.
Well, not
So to
personally,
be
but
able,
I see the faces that Ralph makes at me when I say
there you go.
talk about batteries.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we've done it many times. We've got the capability to do it, but to be able to outsource that, yeah, we spend probably 5-6 grand more buying a battery box off Felton than if we just made our own battery box. But now think about the warranty, think about the breakdown support, think about the engineer I've got to pay and teach, and the bus bars coming from China, the all that. I'd rather pay the 6 grand. And the same goes with a lot of things. If you want to put the Tesla motor, the new gears into my Tesla motor, and I'll just pay you 500 quid to do it, do that. Because then I'm doing as little impossible in house. I'm just collecting parts, plugging them in, mounting them, and every 3 weeks we're churning out a car. That's a very different business model than taking all of the individual pieces, which we used to do, and building a car from scratch, which takes 3 months rather than 3 weeks. I mean, 3 months is still quick, you know that. I think you're buggering
Don't
around.
rub it in, Barnaby.
It can't be that hard.
Don't rub it in. But yeah.
How many have I built since you started?
Oh, don't go there. Okay.
And I only have one engineer.
Well, there we go. So yeah, I mean, this is the key thing, isn't it? It's EV conversion is the time and the labor hours, and that's what makes it expensive. So with companies like Felton and kits from people like Electric Classic Cars and Jack and other people in the industry, just speeds things up. Crazy people that want to go one-offs on TVRs and such like. I mean, yeah, start saving or prepared to be spending lots of money. Essentially,
you've got to standardize it. These companies that even OEM manufacturers that make 1 or 2 cars, the price point is ridiculous because we can build so many. Yeah, my prices can come down. It's all economies of scale. It's the same car every single time. Those 2 cars on the screen right now are identical underneath, even though one's 1988 and one's 1999. There's 11 years between them.
Interesting. So, what series that? Again, I'm not a Defender specialist, but what series is that?
So one is they're both Defenders. One is a very early sort of V8, that 88, and then one is a much more modern, it's called a TD5 diesel, but it's a ladder chassis. It's pretty much the same. There's slightly different engine mounts, but not enough to worry about. And that's meant that we built one car and then we just replicate. It's all on CAD. It's all machined and made in house with not fancy machines, but like a great machine that you press print on a Land Rover 90 and it goes, there are all the parts, and I'll go and weld them together.
Wow.
Which is very naughty to say, but I sacked a person and bought the machine, and my efficiency just went straight up.
Wow.
But that's the world, right? Elon Musk did the same thing.
Well, Musk's got his robots coming, hasn't he? I forget what they're called now, but yeah, I mean that is
the robots build the cars.
Well, this is it, and this is why they're more efficient, and you can churn more out and get the cost down. Because essentially, I think you've picked a good vehicle to convert. Because I mean, have you ever worked out how many Defenders are on the road? You must have worked it out.
It's something
market size, right?
It's something like 85% that were ever made are still on the road, which is compared to other classic cars where it's probably 20%. But they've all been buggered around with by the farm welder and the whatever, and you look at some and you think, Christ. But you can just change a couple of parts out and off you go. New galvanized chassis, and you've got a great car again.
So, I mean, before I'll ask about the differences between the conversion stuff, but I must ask you, because otherwise I'll forget, is what is your kind of typical clientele with your Defenders and your Range Rovers? Are we talking more kind of farmers? Are we talking kind of more public? I mean, what's the kind of the type of customer profile?
Amazingly, we've had a bit of everything, to be honest. I mean, I've got a farmer literally around the corner from us, maybe a 20-minute drive, who genuinely put sheep in the back of her Series 3. Poot was, she needs to go about 10 miles a week, and came to us because the only thing she was not off grid for was petrol in her Land Rover. So, let's get it on the solar panels, and great. That's the cheap end on the Series 3. It's a red one somewhere there, all the way up to your people living in central London, which is these two Range Rovers there.
I thought so, yeah. There's a classic Range Rover just around the corner from me, and it's a beaut. Absolute
so
beaut. I am starting to like them a lot.
That one on the right is north of 100 grand before it's even been electrified.
Because
that one on the left,
right?
because it's a 3-door. The one on the left is a 5-door. That's worth about 6 grand in in diesel form. So there's very, very different clientele. We've got
huge difference in value, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a car with Neon Overland, who are a big Defender builder, almost like Twisted.
They must be near me, right? Because they're from Northampton. Peterborough, yes, literally just up the road. Because I live on the Neen or the Nen. I think we're locals. We call it the Nen. So I'll have to go and see them.
Oh,
that's the case.
So they've got, they're selling 70, 80, 90 grand diesel ones. So you can imagine we add the electric into them. They've got roof tents, kitchens come out the back, reversing sensors, reversing cameras, all that kind of crap, heated seats, whatever. But then we've got one. Yeah. Then we got, but that, that was 70 grand before we even started. And then we've got someone bought a car in 1991 from new. It goes to Cornwall tomorrow, and the bottoms of the doors are rusted out. I've got a video coming out on that soon. But he paid his 50 grand with us, and he's got an electric Land Rover, and he loves it. Compared to someone paying 100 and whatever grand to come in and we build one from scratch. So it's an amazing mix. It's the business owners of this world, and then it's someone that gets a nice pension payout. It's 50 grand. I want to spend it. I want to have some fun. So I try and cater to all, but it's the same system every time. It's just
and you've got a couple of battery specs though, haven't you? So let's say, for argument's sake, Barnaby, I've got one of these Range Rover Classics on the left. I'll go and buy my neighbour's one from just down the road, and I decide, you know what, I want Tesla power. So what are my options?
So you've got the we always use the Model 3 motor. So that's 280 horsepower, mid-mounted, where the gearbox used to be. Fantastic motor. Reason, we could go and buy new whatevers, but we're better off spending. I think I spend like 1,800 quid on a motor, like ridiculous. Then I spend money on the bearings, the oil filter, the new gears, the LSD, the control system. There's a lot on top of that. Yeah, we put LSDs in the middle. Otherwise, your front left spins.
Right, got you. Okay.
Otherwise, because it's mid-mounted, you have 3 open diffs in a row. All the power just goes down the top left, and as soon as the road's wet, you just go. It's terrifying. Okay. So you're getting that motor. You can say to me you want a large drive unit, and I'll tell you to go somewhere else, because we're still getting 5-6 second 0 to 60. Like, if you really want to go faster than that in your old Range Rover, go and buy a Model 3 and do it that way, or whatever. I don't think it's the right car for it. It's probably not safe. It's 5-6 seconds, it still feels like you're pinned back to the chair in your armchair.
Just to go back, Paul did mention he's done 4 EV builds in 23 years. So I think he is winning slow and steady, wins the race.
Well, you could overtake him, Tim.
Stop it now.
At this rate.
Yes, too true. Bye, Fluffy.
No, so look, you're getting your motor, it's Model 3. And then you've got a choice of battery pack. Do you want 55 kilowatt hours, which 9 out of 10 customers do, because that gets you pushing 150 miles. Really, you wouldn't go much further in your Defender with your Range Rover, because all of our clients have also got a Model S, a Model X. Most of them actually have Porsche Taycans. You know what it's like. So they put the 55 kilowatt hours in, and they're happy. They go to the shops, they can fast charge, whatever. The odd client, the 10% come along and they say, I want 110 kilowatt hours, which is actually very new to us, but it's a seat box. The whole front seats become a battery, another 55 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
Suddenly you're getting 280, 300 miles range. So this camper van Neon Overland car, he can go off into the bushes in the middle of nowhere. And then when he gets there, he can power his campsite off his car, run his toaster, run his TV, Great.
Let's rewind this because I want to dig into a bit of detail here. So,
Yeah.
So you've got the two. Remind us again what the size of the batteries you do at the moment. You do the
55.
Yep.
Or 110.
Oh, so it's just okay. So the 110. So you said that how many battery boxes are in that? So you've got one in the engine bay, correct?
Yeah. The
And
one you can see here in the front of that blue one. In fact, why don't you click on that car? In fact, click on a Defender. It's better. Oh, yeah, there you
go. View car. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
It's working. He said.
Oh, it's slow.
Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry.
My
yeah.
SEO team went like that. There you go.
There we go.
Right. That battery box is 55 kilowatt hours, and that's always sitting in the front. No matter what, you're getting that pack because that's our minimum.
Yep.
You can't add a little bit. You'll know this. You have to stay at 400 volts, so you either have to double it and parallel them, or nothing.
Yep.
So we can take all of the cars we've already done and add a seat box to them, which is also Felton. Looks very similar, but that's just the whole middle of the car.
Under the rear seat.
Under the front seats.
Under the front seats.
Yeah, it's more of a Defender product, because the Defender has a very boxy sort of under the seats. But that gets you up to 110 kilowatt, and it's sort of upgradable. So these clients can come back to me and go to the ones at the top. Probably that's an old one. That's series. Yeah, one of those ones could come back to me and say, "Now I want the seat box," and I double their range instantly. By which time you might have saved up for it.
So yeah, I mean, what's the cost difference between a 55 kilowatt hour conversion Defender or Range Rover versus the 110? I'm guessing it's a good couple of thousands. So
it's 23.5. So 55 kilowatt hours is 50 grand plus VAT. 110 kilowatt hours is 73.5. So it's not crazy. It's not actually a lot more work because it's just plug the two into each other and dump it in the middle of the car. Sounds very easy, but that is sort of that's the idea, is it's upgradable.
Right. Okay. Wow. No, I didn't realize you did batteries as big as that. That's What do you guys do anything to the suspension at all, or?
No, because I mean, look, each battery pack is 300 kilos. So 300 kilos up the front end of the Defender, it doesn't even realize. You could do if you wanted to. I'm not going to do it for you. And then another 300 is smack in the middle of the car where the seats are. You know, a Defender can take that weight all day long. Another 300 kilos. What is that? A couple of paving slabs in the boot.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a win on the Land Rover side because I don't have to deal with corner weights and suspension and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And so this Defender that we're looking at now, the Series 2, I'm guessing this a slightly different motor combination? This.
Yeah. So that's old. That's Hyper 9, which we have now discontinued.
Okay. So do you do anything less powerful than the Tesla? No. Okay. So now
we used to. So those series did have older cars and older motors.
But you don't get involved in that anymore.
No, we can now put a Tesla battery pack into one of those series. Yes, we put 280 horsepower into it, but it's just like, you know, you just put it on your iPhone app. You say, I only want 100 horsepower, and off you go.
Got you. Yeah. Do you do any brake upgrades at all?
No, it's all regen.
Okay.
The regen's huge. You basically never touch the brake pedal, just like you wouldn't in your Tesla.
No, absolutely.
You're not. It's not really designed to. You can if you want to. I mean, this is perhaps why we're successful, is we don't do anything. You've already mentioned suspension. You've already mentioned brakes. I wouldn't do either of those.
No,
that's
either
get it done. Get it done while you're on my waiting list, or get it done afterwards. Or if I really have to, I'll outsource it. But it's just not necessary, and it's part of the restoration side rather than the conversion side, which are, I think the line is often blurred, but I'm horrible about it. I say I'm not. I wouldn't even, put heated seats in for you, like, because
Well,
I've got to get it out in 3 weeks.
Well, I think sometimes from a business point of view, sometimes you need to know when to say no, don't you? So, but some companies thrive on doing the extras. So it's your business at the end of the day. So it's one of them.
It feels strange. You're turning away 80 quid an hour to do a very easy job like suspension or brakes, but it's just making my waiting list longer, and it's not worth it. There's other people who are better at it than me, so they should do it.
No, that's fair enough. And you have you got any other little snippets of information you can give us on any upgrades that Felton have got coming through for your the cars that you specialize in at all, or is it a bit everything is kind of current at the moment?
No, we're current and we're not changing anymore. I mean, this seat box battery pack upgrade has got us to 110 kilowatt hours. There's no way you need to go bigger than that.
Yeah.
Like, that's bigger than the biggest Tesla, I believe. So do you really need to go bigger than that? More money, more everything. The Tesla Model 3 motor is fantastic. Yes, there are new motors that are coming out. Maybe we put motors in the hubs, whatever. It's just going to push the price up, and that's not what my business is. My business was always, from the start, let's forget about the 6 figures that whoever in Wales charge and bring it down back into 5 figures, and try and make it, try and get the farmer or whatever in an electric Land Rover, because this isn't the Chelsea Tractor Company. I want people to actually be able to afford this, and at 50 grand, if you were to buy your Tesla outright from you, it'd be about the same.
So have you thought about maybe looking at an 800 volt architecture in the future, or is that something that you've spoken to Felton about, or something that you're aware of that might happen in the future?
No, I mean, yeah, maybe it bring a bit more efficiency, and maybe it is the way the market will go. I will very much follow Felton in this. Felton have so many amazing engineers, software. They got money coming out their ears to develop with, to R&D with. I'm not going to invest that money to R&D a 800 volt system. If Felton want to make it, I'll work out how to use it, and off we go. So I'm a follower, put it that way. I'm not here to break boundaries and do all the R&D in-house, because, as you've said before, it's not profitable, and we are a business. I'm trying to make money.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's from a business point of view, I think probably quite a lot of EV conversions have probably focused too much on the passion side and forgotten about the business side a bit. So yeah, that does sound sensible if making a profit, especially in hard times that we're all in now. So so in terms of are there anything that you're thinking, do you want to expand your range at all, or is it literally you are literally focused on that, you're not thinking about maybe bringing another model at all? No.
Honestly, we already have a year waiting list, and that's me being picky, being like, no, we don't want to do yours because it's wherever. That's me saying I don't want to pay the insurance bill for an American client at the moment. So it's like, we're going to do the easy ones at the minute, and then the expansion then is take on America and shitloads of kits there. We already do Canada, South Africa, and Europe. We could easily take on America, and that would really double everything. But at the moment, let's not go crazy. Let's just slowly grow it. But stick with Defenders, stick with our kits. They're fantastic. You don't need to change them. Let's not fix it if it's not broken.
So how did it all come about? I mean, you mentioned that you decided to do an EV conversion in the first place. What was what led up to that? What was the kind of catalyst?
Yeah, so I was in the eco-friendly space, and that was sort of what I liked. I had an old Land Rover that I'd restored, for a couple of years. It was beautiful. I loved it. I'd rebuilt the engine twice. And by that time, I thought, bugger this. So I called up a well-known EV conversion shop and I said, can you convert it for me? And they said, yep, it's a 3-year waiting list. And it's like north of 100 grand. I need to check my quote. I've still got the quotes.
What spec did you want to go for originally?
Minimal. This was a car to go to the pub in.
How many beers you having, Barnaby?
No, I can leave it there.
Oh, that's all right then. That's all right. No, fair play.
You know, it's a car to play around in. It was a soft top Defender from the 80s. It's like, let's not. I don't need it to do
Have you?
60 in 3 seconds.
No, sure. Have you still got it?
Because of my waiting list, somebody came along and said, "No, I want one now. No, I want one now. No, I want one now," and I'm gutted.
Okay,
So, no.
perfect. So, what are you thinking next? What's your vehicle of choice? What are you thinking? What would be the ultimate? The ultimate in terms of, you know, it sounds like it's going to be another Defender or Range Rover. If I hazard a guess.
That's the problem. I used to drive around in a 1999 911. You know, really old, rubbish, clattery old thing. And my image wasn't good when I was going to clients' houses and being like, right, I'm going to talk you through what we do. So I had to get rid of that. And I don't think I would be allowed to not have an electric Defender now. I mean, I drive an i3 every day. It's the best car in the world. You should have an i3 and
i3, right? Yes, yeah. Okay.
You should have an i3 and an electric Defender, because then you got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, do you know what? I've still not driven an i3, and I do love them inside. So maybe that could be something in the near future.
It's excellent because of the range extender.
You got the Rex. Okay. Well,
I've got 60 miles of EV range. That's it. But my dad took it to Birmingham and back today.
Yeah.
And hasn't charged it in public once. You couldn't do that in your Tesla. Brighton to Birmingham and back.
Depending on the car, I suppose. So it sounds like you must have been a bit of a petrol head at heart if you had the Porsche. Although, you know, a 99 Porsche doesn't sound too much of a, a shed, or the way that you make it out. What model was it?
I went on
Porsche 911 was it?
996. I went on Auto Trader and I put in Porsche 911, sort by price, lowest to highest, $6,000, bought it.
$6,000. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was shit.
Right. So how many miles? What was wrong with it? Yeah, it must have been. You say it was shit. Like, how shit?
Yeah, there's rust coming out the arches. The wheels were scuffed to hell. The leather was ripped inside. The exhaust fell off, so it was just like really loud. But it itched that 911 scratch that I had. And then I had to get an electric car, and I had to follow my business. You know, I would. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'd buy a 911 tomorrow, because I'm still excited by the noise of it, the fun of it. But that's a weekend car every single day. Yeah. I absolutely love my i3. A Defender is also probably a weekend car for most people. You know, anyone who works, you're not going to commute in it, because you can't put your heated seats on from your phone. That's what we kind of come to expect now. Yeah.
The winter, there are some benefits. What did you have before? I'm interested in the car history now, Barnaby. So what did you start with? Let's go from the beginning. Let's go back.
I started with a Polo, a bit boring, but then I got an
MX-5. Same. Snap. What Polo? What Polo did you have?
2003.
Okay, yeah, so that's been a Mark 5.
With the little, like...
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a Mark 6. See, I had a Mark 4 P-Reg Polo. Flush tailgate, CSW Venoms.
Yeah. Great car.
But
then it probably then immediately went to a Mark 3 MX-5, which is ridiculous because I'm 6'4". But it was, a 2-seater. I wanted to have fun on my drive to uni. So that was a great transition. And then Range Rovers, Defenders, you know what it's like.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. You've had the MX-5 is such a driver's car, isn't it? And to know that you've had the 911, you had the itch there. I mean, they're very different. I mean, the only Defender I've ever driven was I think it was a TD4 on a proper 4x4 track, which I nearly toppled over. It was for my 30th birthday, and that's the only time I've really driven a Defender. But I've heard that, on the road, they're not the best behaving. But no. I'm sure that when you electric convert them, they're a lot more usable, subject to range and things like that.
I think the main thing is when you get to a junction, you don't have to trust your clutch control. You're not going to stall it. you can absolutely get out and you can squeeze into traffic, which is why I love my electric car, because I don't have to wait for it to rev. I don't have to slip the clutch. I don't have to whatever. It's very modern driving. It's so easy.
So, have you driven Felton's 911 electric yet? Oh,
No,
you quite tempted to? Oh, yeah. They don't. Chris is very mean. He has not let me driven his Skyline or the 911. I'm waiting. I think. Yeah, I don't think he trusts anyone with that just yet.
I've seen it.
Maybe
I've obviously seen it many times, but never played
yes,
with it.
me too. Maybe I should ask Everati. That'd be a nice one.
Everati is interesting.
Yes,
They
it's
have
very
some
interesting.
very cool things.
What's out of all of the EV conversions out there that you've seen or not seen in the metal? What's been your favourite so far, and what really interests you? So I know I've got a few favourites out there, but what, as an EV converter, you know you live them every day. You know you're working on them, you're producing them at a fantastic rate. You know which ones you like? Oh, do you know what? That looks an amazing build. You know what have kind of caught your eye in the EV conversion market?
I don't know. I'm quite obviously laser focused on watching my competition and making sure we're ahead, whether it be price, whether it be power, whether it be whatever. Something I really like and I want to have a go at. I haven't actually seen someone do it yet, but it's a really interesting idea. Is there's a place called Amp Revolt in Pennsylvania, I think, and they've just developed a shaft that goes into the Tesla motor and turns it into a single output.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run it dual output, i.e. in the back axle. You could run it in the gearbox tunnel straight through to the back diff, to the back axle. And that would give you Model S, Model 3 power on a rear wheel drive setup, which is going to be quite exciting. So like a pickup truck or it's very American style, right? But you can spin the wheels, then it's far less usable, but it's quite cool. So when somebody uses that and does it properly, that's going to be my favorite build, but it hasn't been done yet. So I can't say it's one of my own, but obviously it will be until somebody's done that. And maybe we should do that. Maybe one of my clients wants a rear wheel drive Defender and they can go and do donuts. That'd be quite cool. But have a look at that on Amp Revolt's website, because I really think it's a cool way of doing it, and a way that if I was going to be doing Maseratis, anything big front engine, I would be doing that system. So hopefully somebody does it. It won't be me. You can ask as many times as you want, but I'm going to either charge you way too much or not do it.
No, fair enough. And I was hoping secretly that you're going to say the TVR conversion.
So are you rear motor?
Literally, I was just like passing you, ready for the goal.
It's not done yet. Is it rear motor?
Remind me.
LDU.
It's SDU custom prop into the rear diff.
Custom prop in. Oh, so you're doing that then?
Yeah, in a way, but with the SDU, because at the time, bearing in mind it was a while ago that I managed to find someone. We worked closely with. I purchased the motor from EV Shop in Europe, because someone mentioned. In fact, it was Nathan, I think, who's got a lovely Beetle. Hopefully, going to get his car on the channel soon. He recommended that particular motor, because what I was looking for, because the story of the TVR was all about used batteries, used motor, and no one did the Tesla Model 3 kits at the time. I would say it's probably the biggest weak point, if there is a weak point of the car, because ultimately I'd always wanted a Model 3 motor because it's newer tech and all the rest of it. But we'll see.
They're way more efficient. That's why we're getting up to 150 miles out of only 55 kilowatt hours. That's, call it 3 miles a kilowatt hour. Yeah. That's unheard of on an LDU. I don't know about SDUs.
I'll let you know. But hopefully this year.
But yeah, also you could save up $5,000 and swap it into a Model 3 if you decide you need that. I know a lot of people who are still doing SDUs, even good firms like me.
this is a good point actually, because I do have an open inverter LDU controller for sale at the moment. I think I put it on open inverter for them for £150. They're about 250, 300, cheapest chip. So if anyone's looking for that at the moment, let me know. Chargeheads@gmail.com. Send it across.
In the same respect, I bought 5 T2C EV controllers for
Oh wow, okay.
any Tesla motor, because for the next 5 builds in the line, and we can't get them to talk to our BMS, so we can't get DCL or CCL limiting, i.e. limiting on regen or limiting on discharge based on the battery pack condition.
Interesting. What BMS are you using?
Orion 2 inside the Felton box.
That's weird, because I've got the Orion 2 and I've got the T2C, so that's interesting.
They're working on it. They're working on it, but I don't have time for them to work on it.
Interesting.
So, I mean, but look, for you, it doesn't really matter. A lot of people, in fact, pretty much everyone doesn't run CCL or DCL limiting.
So what do you mean by that? CCL.
So CCL is current charge limit, or charge current limit, i.e. how much regen are you going to allow the motor to produce so that it doesn't blow up your battery box. I.e. if your battery box is really hot, you're not going to allow the motor to give it full regen or give it full power.
Got you.
If your battery box is at optimal temperature, it will tell the motor, spank me as hard as you want. If you don't do that in your respect, it's fine, because if you blow your batteries up, maybe very small chance you'll hurt your batteries, or you're going to reduce the longevity of your batteries because you're overworking them when they're overheated. You're overworking them when they're too low of a state of charge. For us, we can't risk somebody overheating their battery box and then spanking power out of it, because I'll get a lawsuit. So, and I also don't get my Felton warranties. So I get a 3-year warranty from Felton on all the battery parts. So if I don't limit the motor, I'm putting my battery box through strain. That could be 50 grand cost price worth of battery box. Whose pocket does that come out of? So Nginx do allow that, but T2C don't.
I lost you there. Sorry, you said Nginx, didn't you? Nginx.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So what do they offer that the T2C doesn't? Because this is very interesting, because I'm going to be fitting the Nginx Boost 50 to my Tesla Model 3 soon. So it's an interesting company. I know a little bit about.
They're in Canada as well. Both of these firms are in Canada, but they have listened to Chris at Felton and said, look, there are so many people who are going to be using the Orion 2, so many people who are going to be using the Felton battery box. You need to make your CCL, DCL limiting work. Otherwise, people aren't going to buy it. And look, I buy 14 a year at that vast expense. I've now moved away from T2C because I can't get that to work. So, moral of the story, I've got 5 for sale. I got them really cheap because I got big, supplier bulk discounts and bought them across on an aeroplane. So if somebody needs one for theirs,
okay, there we go. I wish I knew that. I mean, I pay probably full whack for mine, and they're not cheap at all. So there we go. This is the beauty of having this, having a channel like this live. You get to find out, EV conversion parts, which are going to cost you a lot of money, but there's some money to be saved here. Paul, Paul put? Which M3 motor, the induction or the hybrid reluctance? Does that make any sense to you, Barnaby?
No.
Which Model 3 motor?
I didn't know there were 2 different types.
Paul, please explain a little bit more. So
there is something fancy in the Model 3 motor. I mean, this goes back to saying I buy parts and I put them in cars. I don't know how the inside of the motor works. I don't need to, because I call up my warranty and I say, this motor doesn't work. Can you send a new one? Business, not too techy. But you'll have to clarify on that.
No, sure. Okay. So where can people find you this year? Because are you going to any events? Because I know I've seen you at a lot of events. So, for example, are you going to any of the fully charged lives? Are you going to any other events? What's the game plan
So
this
you
year?
guys, you'll know Jerome at Felton and at EV Builders Guide. He,
Yep.
you know, we're very involved with him. You know, a lot of emails back and forward saying, you know, try this, get me in this magazine. Can I come and do this video? And he is running a lot of events. Well, setting up the Felton Pavilion at
Yeah.
a lot of events. So we get good rates to go and stick a car on that next to the Felton battery box, next to the whatever else is there. I'm a little bit, the amount of aggro that goes into a show is unbelievable. You can imagine trailering cars back and forward. You can imagine I've got to pay 3-4 people to stand there and talk nicely to people for 3 days, and then get all the cars back after making sure that they all look super good, because they don't look super good until they're done, i.e. the cable ties are done up. So I've got a year-long waiting list. Do I really need to put 10 grand into Goodwood Revival, for example, which is what it cost me last year?
Goodwood Revival, though, that's one of the better ones to do, I think, in terms of your clientele. But that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money, for sure.
10 grand.
Oh yeah, because I missed you at that one. I actually missed you at that.
I don't know how you did.
I literally got everyone but Barnaby. It was just hiding
we
from me.
We had four electric Land Rovers there, but I got one client out of that for 10,000 quid.
Shit, okay.
So
okay.
is
and
it
I couldn't even
worth
find this. Obviously, you're in the wrong place.
No, put us into Google though, and I get, you know, and you won't put anything to do with Land Rover into Google. If I put 10 grand worth of Google SEO into, you can imagine how many calls I'd get. So
no, for sure.
It's a little bit of a strange one.
Yeah. No, well, I'm hoping to do some more EV meets at some point. So I don't think they're probably as close to you, but yeah, keep an eye on the socials, because it'd be great to have you there with some of your stuff. Paul was basically asking, I thought you might be, the Model 3 dual motor and performance, they use different motors at the front and the rear. Do you know which one you use as part of the conversion kit?
We only use rears.
Rears. I thought that might be the case. Okay.
Yeah, and that's because of Nginx. They only have a controller for only the rear, or the rear and the front. You can't control just the front.
Got you.
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Brian and Albert Heat and Power, thank you for commenting in there. So what was going to be my next thing? Yeah, so okay, so you're not thinking about any particular calendars. Can you tell people where to find you? What's the best way to get in contact with you, Barnaby?
Yeah, I mean, my mobile number's plastered all over the website, so that's pretty good. You're better off calling me, because we get a hell of a lot of requests on the contact us page. So if you're really interested, you ring me, because otherwise I'm just working through Tom, Dick, and Harry from Arizona that wants or whatever.
There we go.
That would ring just here.
I'm amazed that you have your mobile number on there, because most people just think, "Oh, okay, that's not going to be great." But you know, that must take up a lot of your time having conversations with people.
Yeah, it does. But it comes down to the honesty of it. You know, I'm not trying to hide behind CGI generated images of Land Rovers that don't actually exist. I'm not trying to, which you've seen people out there. There's so many cars.
I've not, and I'm not going to comment, but moving on.
No, but it pisses me off, because people say, "Oh, what about this place that builds hub motors in 4-wheel drive, and it's does 60 in half a second?" And I'm like, it doesn't exist. It's a marketing stunt. So ring me, even if you're a DIYer. Ring me if you catch me at a good time. Then I will help you, because I started as a DIYer. I get that. I wouldn't have paid 50 grand for my car to be done. So I understand that some people want to do that. You may catch me at a bad time, and then, sorry, I'm under a car, like I've got a deadline tomorrow. But ring me. I'm all over YouTube. We're all over socials, etc. But yeah, there's loads to see and learn on our YouTube channel, and really understand what we do, I suppose.
No, wonderful. And while everyone's engaged at the moment, please give us a like, give us, whack in a comment after the video. Please share, really helps the channel, so I can get, wonderful guests on like Barnaby here. And just want to say, you know, there's a little bit of information that I'm going to give in terms of what's happening the next couple of weeks. But Barnaby, thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks for talking about your company. It's been really interesting. I've learned a lot, and I can't wait to drive one of your vehicles. I will.
You got to
make
get
a date.
down. I'm fed up of you saying that you will.
I know.
And then, you know,
I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Give you £1 every time. But yeah, it's difficult with work and everything else. But I'll stop making excuses.
We're about to finish 2 identical green Defenders, which are going to a private estate up near Leeds, and we can go together, maybe do an off-roading video or some drag racing or something fun like that. So get it in the diary.
Me, so that's the perfect time.
There you go.
There we go. We'll keep in contact there. So thanks Barnaby. So next week we've got Laurent from Fuel to Electric, which is a business in America, and they make recommendations to people for EV conversion companies. So that's going to be a really interesting chat next week. If you missed it, yesterday I put a video up about Rusty Tesla. It's now done over 100,000. It's actually done 102,000 now. So I did a nice old long jaunt to Barnsley and back. And yeah, and I've got some really exciting stuff coming on the Tesla Model 3 because I've had a bit of a motherload of exciting parts arrive. So yeah, there's more to follow on that. And hopefully we're going to get an update on the TVR soon, fingers crossed. But thanks everyone for listening. Barnaby, thanks once again, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks again.
Thank you.